I have a lot of hair because I pop hair pills like Skittles. But if not, I'd be looking like you, brother.
Does it work?
Oh, absolutely.
Hair pills work?
The only downside is other parts of your body are like a chia pet, if you know what I mean.
I mean, I do know what you mean because that happens naturally. It's a cruel joke.
There you go.
Hey, I'm Armando Leduc, producer, film actor, and owner of Leduc Entertainment. I have chosen a life off the beaten path and wanted to find others that are doing the same. Spaghetti on the Wall is a show based on all of the years that I've thrown spaghetti on the wall and nurtured what stuck. We will share fun stories, ideas, tips, tricks, and more. Welcome to Spaghetti on the Wall. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when you are consuming this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, another one, Spaghetti on the Wall. Ryan Angott, what's up, dude?
What's up, Armando? Glad to be here.
You like that? Do you enjoy
it.
the applause?
I love it.
When was the last time you got applause, man?
Well, it wasn't from my wife coming out of the bedroom, that's for sure. But
Yep, preach, sir.
yeah.
Preach.
So it's been a while. I can't tell.
That's funny. I got applause last Saturday. Actually, I was playing a gig, so that always feels good.
Nice.
Feels good to get.
That's right.
applause.
You're a showman. You're in the scene. You know,
in the
it's probably
scene,
not on the
man.
golf course from the clips I've seen of you, Armando. It's probably more at the
Shut
golf.
up.
You're more of a stage man.
Hey, you saw the swing. You didn't see where the ball ended up.
That's
bro.
true. Well, based on the swing,
and the
I
ball-
assume the ball wasn't going in every time on pars.
It absolutely is where you think it would have gone.
Yeah.
To the right, to the left, wherever it wants to go. I don't control the ball, man. The ball controls me.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
So, Ryan Angott has two businesses, Strategic Assistant Staffing, where he helps you with some virtual assistants. And then he also has LapLock, which is a device that helps you from getting your laptop stolen. So we'll pop into this because you're doing two businesses. One is service-based, and the other one is product-based. Mm-hmm. So I really want to get into, sort of the ins and outs of what it's like to run two companies, number one, right?
Yep.
So let's start there. What is it like running two companies?
If you've seen the movie Armageddon, where there's hell every day and people are firing, screaming, and you're in the fire, it's basically that. No, it depends on the day, man. There's good days, there's bad days. Last week was a fantastic week. I was in LA, had some really good business meetings. But it's really hard. I mean, and I didn't go, I've been working on, and just a little minor point of correction, TechLock is my other company, TechLock Solutions. LapLock is the product, and I'll tell you a little bit more why I specified that, because we're kind of elevating our brand, not to be a product company, but be a lifestyle brand of products built for the work from anywhere lifestyle, which we can get into. But I have been working at TechLock for almost 5 years, and I was, and I also had a full-time job. And I wasn't out looking for another business. I already had my full-time job working in cybersecurity. I had my night and weekend side hustle with TechLock, as a startup. And then to boot, I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old with a wife that wants to spend as much time with me as possible. So wedging in a third business was not on the menu. However, it was born out of necessity. And this may be a lesson to the audience that I have a gift as a visionary entrepreneur like you do, Armando, and many of your listeners, that when you can spot opportunity, you kind of jump on it and just go for it. And what happened was I was working in my TechLock business, grinding 10, 16-hour days in and out for years. And about a year and a half ago, I had my third local assistant, and I was paying her about $25 an hour. Like, I'd gone through two others. She was my third one. Got her up to speed, got her trained. She was about 26, 27. She was like 20, 30 hours a week. And she would help me with everything. She'd help me with forms and social media and scheduling and blah, blah, blah. All the little nuances that go running into business, as you know. And she kind of bailed on me, flaked out on me, kind of no called, no showed, text me back, sorry, this isn't for me. Didn't even really have a conversation. I'm like, man, I just got her finally up to speed after 3 months of feeling each other out. And now she's gone. And that happened 3 freaking times on me. And randomly, I got a cold email from a woman in the Philippines that said, hey, we cater to entrepreneurs and small business owners for $7 an hour. Give us a shot. And I'm thinking, well, McDonald's is paying 15. So what kind of quality work am I going to get for $7 an hour? And, sure as shit, we ended up doing, I hired Christina as a customer about 1.5 years ago. To this day, she's still arguably my best employee. We did bump her rate up a little bit. Now she's at like 12 an hour because she should be, and I felt like that was necessary. But it was just kind of born out of necessity to feed my other business. I needed a service to run TechLock because I couldn't get to everything. Now 1.5 years later, I became a partner, and now I have 9 full-time SaaS employees working for TechLock. And that's how I was born out of TechLock to SaaS and how the ecosystem has come together. And it's really been a huge competitive advantage for TechLock being in the staffing industry. That's a long-winded answer, but that's how it started.
So you're finding more ease and peace of mind because you have actual people that can help you understand the process and are getting all of the little things that need to get done in a business that don't need to be done by you.
Yeah.
But they're getting done, and they're getting done by people that are half the price of local.
I mean, it's more like a quarter of the price. But you get the beauty of it is, as a business owner of TechLock, I'm always keeping my eye on, top line and bottom line. And when you're a startup, it's all about the numbers, and you got to be very careful, as you know. And to have a service that's a fourth of the price, month to month, like if business booms, I can hire 50 people in weeks. If the economy goes to hell and my business has to take a pause, which it's had to pause, like, we think we're going to launch and then we have to back up, stop, start. That throttling up and down on the gas pedal is really tough for startups when you have hired somebody full time. You can't just put them on the sideline for a month or two. But with this service, you can. So if things go south and we have a problem with our product and we got to hold off launching for 3-4 months, which we've had to do, I just stop the service. Or even better, I'll tell my customer service director, who works for us full time, Maria, we don't have a lot of customer service needs. Do you mind doing these other projects? Do you mind doing research? Do you mind doing XYZ? Do you mind? No problem. Happy to do it. Happy to help. And whereas the U.S., if I hired a salesperson making X amount of money, and if I go, hey, I got nothing to sell for 3-4 months, do you mind doing social media or research or admin duties? He'd tell me to get lost. That's the reality. So to have that flexibility month to month with that mindset, a fraction of the cost, and to be honest, a can-do attitude. If I say jump, they pull out the trampoline. Ryan, tell me where to go. I'll do whatever. That mindset really is tough in the U.S. And the millennial generation in general. I think the average job they're at is 18 months, something like that. So that turnover kills businesses, and I experienced it. And on top, you got 10,000 boomers retiring every day in a virtual world. It's truly the perfect time and place to have a solution like this.
100%. So is this something so switching gears to LapLock, is this something that you invented?
Yeah, so TechLock Solutions was born about 5 years ago. We had the vision of a work from anywhere world, and then sure as shit, COVID hits us right between the eyes. And we made everything stop, like, oh boy, we're done. No one's leaving their house. Why have a product that is suited for public and shared workspaces? Travelers, students, coffee shops, Panera Breads, shared workspace. Well, what happened was that COVID actually threw gas on the fire. We go, whoa, it's now a work from anywhere world. You don't have to be in an office. The whole boom of the WeWorks in these shared workspaces is all the rage. And so it helped evolve our idea for the product and our portfolio of products for TechLock. And LapLock is our flagship product that we've invented and that we have 2 patents on and trademarked. locally and internationally, and it's been an absolute bitch, Armando, of inventing, designing, manufacturing at high volume, mass produced at high quality quantity levels offshore through COVID. I mean, I have a lot of hair because I pop hair pills like Skittles, but if not, I'd be looking like you, brother. I
Does it work?
Oh, absolutely.
Do that
Just
hair pills work?
oh, the only downside is other parts of your body are like a chia pet, if you know what I mean.
I mean, I do know what you mean because that happens
I
naturally.
got the mower.
It's a cruel joke.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a cruel joke. Well, look, that's awesome for you that you have hair. But so you invented this.
Yes. My dad and I.
The lap
My
lock.
dad and I. I'm co-inventor.
Your dad and I. Talk about your father, because your dad, man, what a wild story. Like stories. But give us some context about your dad.
Boy, where do you start? If everyone's seen the movie Back to the Future, Doc Brown, the crazy inventor. He's not so crazy, but he's got a little craziness to him. True visionary inventor, and he's had about a 50-year run, a 50 run in inventing and making products for consumer products, medical grade. I mean, he's got 40. Between the two of us, we have 43 patents. The little secret is he has 42, and I have one, so I have some ways to catch up. But yeah, so he knows the patent IP world, design engineer extraordinaire, and he started off in his 20s, and his first big hit was like the Nest before the Nest was around. And I'll tell you what he invented. His big first invention was the a thermostat, a timed thermostat for your home. So you could set a timer to say 8 to 5, I want the temperature to be 70, and 5 to 10, I want it to be 68. He invented that. But it was manual. It was just a timer on a thermostat, and he owned the patent on that. And that was a big hit. And then he really had a series. He made beltless drive ceiling fans, security systems, all sorts of different consumer things in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And then he got into some bigger projects in the 2000s, leading us to now TechLock. So he's really had a wide gamut of success in different products he's invented. Some have been home run grand slams, some have been strikeouts. It's kind of the evolution of inventor. But talk about a guy with some stripes on his shoulder that could tell some stories.
That's awesome, man. So you guys invented the lap lock.
Mm-hmm.
How did that idea come about?
Sure. Yeah, I was as I routinely was, I was in a coffee shop working for a cybersecurity company who took security ultra seriously, which is what most of corporate businesses do now. And I remember it because I would be running around in between appointments. I'd be camped out in a Panera for 2 hours or, hotel, wherever. I was always camped out. And I'd have to go to the bathroom, or more often a phone call would come in from a buyer or somebody that I wanted to be quiet. And I would run out the door and I'd take a call because it was quiet. And I would be like, man, I just left my laptop and my stuff out there for like 10, 20 minutes. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it. I'd ask someone to watch it. And then I found out through my corporate training that if your laptop got stolen and you were found to be negligible, like I was, it was a fireable offense. I was making really good money. I had a really good job. And I'm like, man, I'm risking my job because I want the convenience to leave my stuff out and go run around, go to the bathroom, get a coffee, take a call. I wanted that convenience, which is what most people want. Yeah, I was a little worried it would be stolen, but I wanted to keep all my stuff there. And I was like, man, I think there's something here. Started doing online research, started talking to people, bounced it off my dad, who's the guy that's going to make the magic happen. He's like, I have the exact same problem. I'm out all the time, and I got to use the restroom, take a call, and same problem. And then we started talking to a lot of people like, yeah, I also have that problem. I want that convenience, and I leave my stuff out often. Then we started doing surveys. Then we started to see, could we get a patent? And then that snowballed. That was 5 years ago. COVID hit, which set us back 2 years on manufacturing the product for a variety of reasons. But that's how the idea started, and it kind of snowballed from there.
That's awesome, man. And so now you guys are finally, you guys have product. Are you in stores? How can we find this?
Yeah. So we start with, here's the new box, new packaging. We got our nice retail box that's really slick, that took a lot of time to, it's upside down, to redo. We got direct feedback from buyers at the Consumer Electronics Show. So this is ready to go. These products work great. The branding's spot on, the packaging's spot on. We get 4,000 units from our manufacturer this quarter. And we'll be on Amazon. One of our products, the phone mount, will be on Amazon next week. Then direct to consumer through our website in about 2 weeks. Our website's ready to go. We're just waiting on product. We've backfilled most of our Indiegogo orders, so we've already pre-sold about 25 grand of product. And we'll be really heavily online through the end of the year. And we will be at one major retailer sometime in November, December. We're actually kind of working through those details right now. That's kind of all we can handle. We got to really walk before we run. Then by January, our additional manufacturer has the capability to make many more units in volume at a higher quality and at scale. And we'll really be in, our hope is next year we'll be in Best Buy, Staples, Office Max, CDW, all the big major retailers and resellers that sell to businesses. Our portfolio line of computer accessories that we're adding more products onto.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at in terms of funding?
Well, that's a good point. We just raised $250,000 in the last 30 days, and I have a kind of a soft verbal. We've got to iron out that deal is not done. We've got to iron out some details from a large investor who is open to putting in $500,000 into TechLock, which would be fantastic. He's got this experience. He's been in the IT security industry, and that would just really catapult growth. We need inventory, flat out. All these major accounts like Best Buy, Walmart, Target, yeah, they love it. It's a high margin, good add-on new product. It doesn't mean anything if you can't have good, consistent inventory. And that's been by far our hardest part, getting that from our manufacturer overseas.
So talk to me about so you just got back from Los Angeles. What was going on in Los Angeles?
I had a couple of key meetings. We had a couple new distributors who would sell into like a Walmart, a Target. So we had a deal we're working on a deal with them, which looks very, very good. We had an OEM partnership discussion. For confidentiality, I'm going to leave their name out, but we basically are negotiating a deal to incorporate biometrics into the lap lock. So instead of having the top keypad of lap lock, and it probably makes sense to show the audience of what I'm talking about, but instead of hitting your code 212, you could just put your finger on the product. So right now we've got the top keypad where you have your buttons. So instead of the keypad, we'll have another version of the product that you just put your finger on, and it goes boop, and then it unlocks. So
that's cool.
We would be incorporating their brand, their technology into the next flavor called LapLock Biometric. So that was a meeting, and then I had my large kind of mentor investor meeting as well, and a few other ancillary stuff, but those were the big ones.
So talk to me about how these meetings go, like in terms of like creating the deal. How are you finding these people? Mm-hmm. And then when you get there, what's that sales presentation like? And then how are you guys negotiating the deal?
Yeah, I mean, my dad has a ton of experience in raising cash. I think he's raised $30 million in the last 15 years from different angel groups or VCs. I've raised $1.3 million, $1.4 million now in TechLock. And it's money raising is not that difficult from my perspective. When you have a good product, if you got a piece of crap, you're not going to. Very difficult. So it's a function of time. It's just time consuming. You got to really have a bang up presentation, which we do. our our presentation, our PowerPoint, we've spent many hours refining, making sure all the numbers foot and tick, making sure you cover the key points within 25-30 minutes, and then have Q&A, which is the most important time. Most of my investor presentations are usually 1 hour on the nose, and it's got to be a really good, crisp presentation. Now, I'm also an angel investor myself, and I've seen a lot of presentations do not do a good job of demonstrating to the audience how to get a return on their money. They'll say, we got a big market, we got a cool product, we're going to sell it online, blah, 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 blah. Awesome, cool, everyone does that. But I have found why I've had a relevant high success close rate. Usually if I talk to 2 people or 3 people, I'll get 1 or 2 to close. If they're qualified, they got to be qualified. Qualification means you make $200,000 or more in the U.S. and your net income, I think, is over $1 million or $2 million, something like that. But there's an accreditation. If you have a real buyer that likes angel deals, that has experience, the chances of going up are significantly higher versus pitching somebody that's, you meet Joe Schmo off the road, that's, whatever. But demonstrating, we've got the product, we've got the market, here's how we're different, our competitive advantage, here's how we're going to sell it, here's our branding, here's our strategy. By the way, next year, our forecast is to do $9 million in sales through these channels. And when we do $9 million, we're going to EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, going to EBITDA $1.2 million. Okay. Well, you just bought 1% of our company. We profited $1.2 million. You're going to get a check for $11,000. And now we might have some cash reserves, but that's kind of the even math. The next year, we're going to do $18 million in EBITDA 4. Here's what and you build that over 5 years and say, based on our category in the consumer electronics industry, companies typically exit or have a liquidity event, same thing, for 18 times X EBITDA. So in 5 years, we're going to get to $100 million in sales. I've shown you the graph and how we're going to get there. We're going to profit $15 million. Now, 18x is the typical exit for companies like us. But you always want to be conservative in the presentation. So we use a number of 10. If we had a 10x multiplier upon exit, that would mean a big computer company or a computer accessory company would say, I love your brand, I love your products, I love your patents, I love what you're doing. We're going to buy you guys for $150 million. And then the investor who owns 1%, they've been getting an annualized profit share. They go, well, you sell for $150 million. I own 1%. I'd get $1.5 million on the $80,000 I invested. I put in $80,000. I got $1.5 million on the exit, and I got about $300,000-$400,000 of profit sharing over 5 years. I got $1.8 million back on my $80,000. That's a 23-to-1 return on investment. Let's go. That's and if they're confident in the numbers, they believe your story and your differentiator, and if you're a good entrepreneur with good salesmanship and you've got the whole package, that's when you get a deal. If you lack the depth or are missing any of those key ingredients, you're going to have a much harder time. But I find more than any pitch I see, it's very rare to see somebody that ties it all in and go, you put in this, you're going to get X, here's how, here's why, and here's what adds up the sum of that 23-to-1. And that's it.
Is that typical for a company like yours? Or just any company when you're investing?
I don't think, if you were to survey 100 startups like us, probably 95% of them don't think through those numbers and do the real dirty details. And also, most of them fail because of cash flow. There's a lot of cool products and cool companies out there, but I think like 84% of companies fail because they're poor at cash flow planning and strategy. And that's one of the pillars. Fortunately, I've got my dad's guidance, and we've got a fantastic VP of finance and operations that holds my feet to the fire. I'm a sales, marketing, visionary brand guy. I'm not an engineer, but I've got a really nice team. There's now a team of 12 of us. And my dad's the inventor, engineer. I've got a great operations guy that makes sure the products come from the factory. But my finance guy runs herd on cash flow and making sure money in, money out, where's it going? Are we on track? And he's got the crystal ball. And you need someone like that in your business, especially as a startup.
So are you telling me out of 100 businesses like yours, 84% of them are going to fail?
Oh, even more than that. I think it's like 95% startup. Now it depends. You know, the risk, the risk barometer to companies like TechLock. Listen, 5 years ago when we had an idea, we didn't start raising money till about a year and a half ago. It was like my dad and I funded it. We put in a lot of money, but that's kind of how, as founders, you got to put a lot of skin in the game, and you're learning along the way. But then you hit a point, you hit a critical point, and ours last year was CES, a Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. And that's kind of like where I would say we've been working out, we've been pumping Jim in the iron for 4 years on our business. Like, we're getting this product ready, we're getting the brand, we're getting the box, we're getting the instructor, all this crap, IP. And then you go to CES and like you unrobe, like you're naked. What does everybody think of my body? What does the real buyers think of my body? And that's when we had all this interest from major computer companies, from distributors to retailers to online guys. And they're like, awesome new concept. It's a work from anywhere world. No one's got this. It's all add-on margin for them. The margin in accessories is crazy. So for them, what's the downside? They're middlemen that buy it from us at a low price and they mark it up significantly. So, you know, it's not really a hard sale if you have a good product and a good niche with little to no competition. So that was the defining moment for TechLock in my eyes. And then we go, shit, we really have something here. We got to pump this thing in with $1 million and we got to pay for marketing and advertising and inventory and more tooling. And was that pivotal moment. So the risk was very high 5 years ago. Now the risk is significantly diminished with TechLock. And that's just kind of the natural latitude of any startup. High risk, and the more you get product, and now we have sales, the product's out, you know, it's now refining. Yeah, there's snags, but it works. People buy it. It's relatively proven. So that's kind of the evolution of a startup.
That's cool. And so do you have a lot of these guys, these investor type, because you're an angel, you said you've been an angel investor yourself.
I've done a few deals.
What are you looking for when you're looking for these types of deals?
You know, and this is another tip. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of entrepreneurs, they say it's friends and family round, because the friends and family, there's one, the trust piece. You're not going to take their money and go to Tahiti. You know, you're not going to screw them. There's a trust built in. And secondly, they trust the entrepreneur. Most of my investors don't know a lot about computer security, computer accessories. Like, you know, they own a construction company, or they're a lawyer, or they're whatever. I just had a real big IP attorney invest $60,000 with us last week. Doesn't know a lot about consumer electronics, but he knows a hell of a lot about patents. And he was like, dude, your patent portfolio is strong. I like this. And so you're really kind of investing in the entrepreneur more than anything. You bet on the jockey, not the horse. Yeah, the horse has to be good and healthy and it's got to work. That's our product line. But, you know, they're trusting that I have the moxie and experience to pull this thing off, because it's not for everybody. It's not for the ill will. You got to know your inside and out, and you got to have depth and perspective on all lines of business. Like, true good business acumen is needed for all successful entrepreneurs, which is rare. Fortunately, I have my dad's 50 years experience that I can leverage. And I think a lot of people get that dynamic. Like, you know, I'm 42, kind of younger, but I'm also more connected on the branding, the marketing, the strategy that he's not as connected on. He doesn't use social media, you know, but he's a badass inventor that knows how to make product at a high volume at a great price. So having that blend of all those different elements of a startup is really what I look for in investing into businesses, and it's what other investors typically look for that are seasoned. So, you know, and it's hard to find. Listen, Armando, you can't tell me when the Squatty Pot, you watch Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Okay. Squatty Potty, the Scrub Daddy, Bombas socks. It's a sock. Bombas socks have done like $1.3 billion. They're the number one seller. It's a sock company. Squatty Potty's done like 200 billion. Scrub it. That's a sponge brush. That's a little stool that you put in your bathroom to take a dump on. And they've done 150 million. How do you really know? You don't really know what's really going to hit.
It's true.
So you kind of take a gamble and you say, maybe, and we're pivoting our brand right now. It just based on my feedback and marketing and kind of depth that you don't know, and you've got to pivot your business to what resonates with the audience. And but generally you say this entrepreneur, he's got it, and if he doesn't know what's wrong with his business, I trust that he's going to figure it out. That's very hard to do if you don't really know that person well.
You got it, man. Ryan, thank you so much, dude. Tell me tell us where we can find you, where we can buy it.
You can buy it, yes. Shop.laplock.com. You can go on there right now. You will say your inventory is like around, we got in 200 units this week. Units are coming in like weekly, 500, 600, 800, whatever. So right now on our website, it will say we are backfilling the Indiegogo orders right now. Those have to go out first. But you can go on the website. You can sign up. Product to buy will be ready next week directly on our website. But that's shop.laplock.com, or you could buy it. There just might be like a 2-week delay on getting the product. So
very cool, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm watching you closely. Following along.
Thank you.
I love I love stuff like this. It reminds me of the filmmaking process. You know what I mean? Because it's a project, right? And it's just an idea, and then the script gets written. And
I could see it being like a film. Like you need a ton of money up front. You got a vision. You got to execute it, and then hopefully it's a smash hit at the box office.
Hopefully, yeah. And there's so many. And yeah, you definitely got to trust the producer to make sure that he has, he stays under budget, hires the right people, and make sure that the vision of the story comes to life, and man, I just love that whole concept. It's really really cool. So,
sure.
Good luck to you, man. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah. And
if you guys are looking for a really cool lap lock for your laptop, because y'all are doing that virtual laptop life. Make sure you guys go and get it.
Thank you.
All right. And that was Spaghetti on the Wall, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by LeDuc Entertainment for all of your digital marketing needs, social media, videos, podcasting. We got you, and you can watch Spaghetti on the Wall anywhere. You're probably watching it right now. And we'll see y'all next Friday.